Today we're talking about me! Welcome to the BS Review. Today we are reviewing the much anticipated Spider-Man Homecoming.
This is the reboot of the Spider-Man franchise into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I would say we were hesitantly optimistic about this one.
Yeah, I mean after, 5 Spider-Man movies in, and 2 reboots, the third in like a decade, we're pretty apprehensive about it.
Yeah, I mean, after seeing Tom Holland play Spider-Man in Civil War, I had a lot more hope for this, I'm not gonna lie, but I was still hesitant about it.
Yeah, that's true. I think he had a strong showing in Civil War, but he was also only on screen for 10 minutes, and so it's way different when you're, the star of your own movie.
Once this came out in theaters, it was extremely hyped by pretty much everyone who saw it. I didn't see any negative reviews of it before we went to see it. Yeah, and so I will say going in, I had pretty high expectations, and we do think this movie was really good. I thought it held up in the Marvel Universe, but I think it was a little overhyped. So with that being said, let's talk about what we did like about the movie.
Well, first off, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. He's my favorite superhero. I've probably read a couple thousand of his comics at this point. So I'm a little bit of a Spider-Man purist. That being said, I really enjoyed the film. I thought they did Kid Peter Parker really well.
Yeah, for it being the third film iteration of, teenage Spider-Man, I was pretty disappointed when I heard that this reboot, they were going to be doing a teenage version again. I was kind of hoping we'd get like 30-something Spider-Man. I think that would have been way more interesting.
Because he's so cooler.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I think they did the teenage part really well.
Yeah, I think it was surprisingly fresh, considering it was the third time we've seen it. And so that alone is impressive. And I think they really portrayed some of the cost that being Spider-Man takes, because he constantly is having to bail on his friends, bail on, the girl he likes, things like that, in order to be Spider-Man, and you see that weighing on him.
Yeah, I think this film did that a lot more than the previous versions of Spider-Man, where they emphasized the sacrifices he was having to make and the fallout from his absences or his choices. Something I really enjoyed about this film was the side characters. I thought that his friends were written really well and they all had their purpose and their influence on him. This is a no spoiler review, so if you want to hear more in detail thoughts about that, go check out our spoiler review. But I really liked them. I thought they were pretty well done for teenagers. I think teenagers can be kind of cliched a lot, and I think it was done well.
Yeah, I think they were definitely a highlight of the film. A lot of times they were more interesting and funny on screen than Tom Holland himself. Yeah. And I think a standout of the film was Michael Keaton as the Vulture.
Absolutely.
This is the third movie that he's played some sort of bird person.
Oh, that's true.
So it's kind of funny how he keeps getting these roles, but it works for him. He is the right amount of villain, and I think it portrays Adrian Toomes really well, his character from the comics. As
someone who doesn't know the history of that character from the comics and source material, I really enjoyed it. I thought he played a villain really well, and it wasn't just like the I am all evil and doing evil things villain thing. Like, he had depth. I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, I think he's one of those actors that even when he's not doing anything villainy, he still brings just like a level of tension to the scene and the screen. So even when he's in a good mood or nothing bad is about to happen, you're still kind of like getting the heebie-jeebies from Michael Keaton, just the way he, emotes and acts through those scenes.
So let's talk about our cons. We both agreed that probably the biggest problem with this movie was the fact that it's the same old story. It's, Peter Parker getting powers and whatever else, teenager, high school, girls, like it's the same formula with a few things changed throughout, which did keep it interesting, but at its core it's still the same structure.
The only thing's different is that they leave out the actual origin specific parts. So him getting bitten by the spider, Uncle Ben's death, and those things have already happened, but everything else is very similar, especially go back to like the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and the first Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, that a lot of those scenes are very similar, like, that happen of him at school and him trying to be a hero.
And this movie did make quite a few references to old movies, to the old reboots, which I won't mention them in this video because I think they're a little too spoilery, but we'll talk about them in our other video.
Yeah, ultimately, I think it was a very safe play for a movie. You could tell that Sony and Marvel were very worried after having their last reboot flop.
Like we said earlier, we really do think this was a good movie. I don't think it was the best of the best, like quite a few people have been saying, and I honestly don't even think it would have broken our top 5 of this year so far. But
Yeah.
it's a great movie. I think it's worth going to see in theaters. I think you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of it, and I think if you're a true like superhero, Marvel, or Spider-Man fan, that you'll really enjoy it.
Yeah, I definitely think that if you like Spider-Man or just the Marvel Universe, you should definitely see it.
If you like our reviews, please give us a thumbs up down below and subscribe, and come tell us what you thought about the movie either in the comments or on social media. We'll have all of our links down below, and if you want to check out some of our other videos, we will have those listed over here, and we will see you guys in our next video. Bye!